Hello everybody, welcome back. It's almost Christmas, so I'm going to show you over 25 different build tips to help you make your builds more festive for the holidays. And then afterwards, I'm going to show you an example of a house, but before and after decorating it to show you how you could apply all these build tips into one build. So let's get right into it and start with the first build tip. Alright, so our first build tip to make your builds feel more festive is of course snow, a very simple one, but it's more than just putting the snow block or a snow layer over everything. So the way I personally do it is I think about how snow would fall. So we have a tree right here, for example, so maybe there's less snow near the tree, maybe you can see some like dead grass underneath it, that kind of thing. Of course, where there's a path, there's no snow, and then it would pile up kind of where you would shovel the snow away from the path. So just kind of think about how the snow would fall, where the snow would be moved, and it just kind of like helps make everything feel like kind of more real. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, snow is essential pretty much. Next up, an absolute classic, we have candy canes. This is kind of the usual block palette I would do. I would use quartz here or even white concrete, but I figured so it matches the stairs, I would use quartz. So we have kind of both designs here. I think I prefer this one though. Then you have one with wood, which I don't particularly like, but we have red and white wood now, so you can do that. But yeah, just something to add like magical Christmas feel to it, you know, because obviously these are like really big, but you know, they look cool. Next up, number 3, we got the candy cane fence. I really don't know. I like the way this looks for some reason. It's kind of alternating with mangrove and pale oak fences. They just kind of make this like kind of cool looking like festive fence. I don't know. Of course, I kind of got rid of a lot of the snow on the path itself because of course you would like shovel it off. Some grass poking through, you know, but I think it looks pretty good. Number 4, we have custom trees. It's kind of a big one. Obviously, these were kind of smaller tips, but this one a lot more important, and that is just custom trees in general. And that's because the spruce tree in Minecraft is just kind of underwhelming. You know what I mean? You can make the tall one, but then there's too much like wood at the bottom most of the time, so it's just not really that great. So custom trees help a lot. This isn't really a Christmas specific tip, but yeah, trees help a lot. This is kind of my first actual attempt at a good custom tree, so I'm pretty happy with it. It's not perfect, but you know, it's pretty decent. That takes us to the next tip here, which is to put snow on them. Now, custom trees with snow, of course, immediately makes it just feel way more like the holidays, you know, because trees with snow, classic. I don't know, I really like the way this looks, honestly. Looks really good. Also at the bottom, there's less snow kind of where like the tree would cover, because that just kind of makes sense. Because of course, snow can't really fall there. Kind of piles up on the edges of the tree where the snow would fall off. So just kind of like, you know, I like the way it looks. Adds a bit of like variation to everything. Looks pretty cool. And yeah, very, very cool looking tree, I think. Maybe you don't like it, I don't know, who knows. Next up at number 6, we have just Christmas ball like ornaments. And these are kind of classic. I don't know, like I always like the way these look. I just use concrete. There's not a whole lot of blocks you could really use for it. I'm talking survival friendly blocks right now, by the way. So, you know, you might see something on the right, but that's not survival friendly. But in survival is kind of the best you could do. Just kind of mix them up. I like it. I think it looks like a cool Christmas tree. I mean, obviously this is like a huge Christmas tree. This is like the Times Square Christmas tree, maybe. But it looks pretty classic, I think. Next up at number 7, we have the star on the top of the tree. I usually just do this with like a frog light and then like yellow stained glass around it. It's kind of hard to get a star shape in Minecraft, so I think I like just the kind of the pointy look of that. I think it just kind of brings the whole tree together. Also in this build, we have these right here, which are creative exclusive like ornament heads. I really like the way they look, but of course, not survival friendly, so I don't want to focus on them too much, but I think they look better than the concrete, of course. But you know, most people can't use them if you're building in survival, so I don't want to focus on them too much. But yeah, I think that's a really cool way to make a Christmas tree. It's kind of like the progression here, and yeah, really solid design in my opinion. Next up for build tip number 8, we have kind of like a demo of a house wall here, and that's to show off this roof. Now, I know it doesn't make a lot of sense, like when you think about it, to like literally build the roof out of snow, but in Minecraft, because you know, you can't put snow on stairs, snow logging something would be cool, like filling a stair with snow would be cool, but anyway, yeah, can't really do anything like that. So you just build kind of a whole roof out of snow, in my opinion. It's kind of the best way to do it. I think it looks pretty good. Of course, use snow layers to kind of create like waves, just how it would pile up, and yeah, it looks really cool. And that takes us to our next build tip, number 9. We have icicles. These just add so much to a build, in my opinion. You could use either like end rods, you know, you could use white stained glass panes, or you could use even light blue, which I think looks all right, just kind of randomly mix in there, but mostly the white ones, in my opinion. Yeah, along with the snow roof, it just kind of like combines to make like a really like cool looking like ice sort of like covered roof, and yeah, I think it looks fire. Next up at number 10 is kind of a more subtle one, and that is to use white glass instead of like gray glass to make it look like it's like frosted over from it being so cold. I like the way this looks a lot. Obviously these builds don't have an interior, so it's a bit harder to tell, but that just looks like colder. You know what I mean? And if you combine that with a whole house, then it just looks really good. Smaller build tip, but I think it looks fire. Next up at number 11, we have garland. Now this, I really like the way this looks, but I used the like creative exclusive player heads here, which I know might not work for everybody if you're trying to build this in survival, but I figured I would include it if you're building in creative. You can just look these up, by the way, like red ornament head or something, and you'll find it. But yeah, these look really good. You can use other blocks too if you're in survival. One thing I noticed is like the resin clumps kind of in some spots can pass as like decorations in like a leaf texture, but I obviously prefer the player heads. They look really good. Next up at number 12, kind of an obvious one, and that is just to use blue ice, packed ice, and normal ice. Just kind of freeze over bodies of water. It kind of makes it like the edges are a bit like more well frozen than the middle. This example, for some reason, they're like ice fishing. I don't know why that was the first thing I thought of, but of course you could have like it look like a skating thing or something. But yeah, freezing over the water makes a huge difference because obviously if there's snow everywhere and then there's water, it's gonna kind of break the immersion a lot. So yeah, make sure to freeze over the water. Next up, number 13, we have the snowman. This is more of a creative tip, kind of, because these are actually Minecraft snowmen summoned with no AI, so basically they can't move. So if you're building something creative and you want some small, like human scale snowmen around, then this is probably what I recommend you do. I would probably remove the head with the shears, because of course you could do that. But yeah, they just kind of look dumb, but like in a good way. You know, in a good way. And that takes us to the next build tip, which is the big snowman. Now, obviously, it's like the size of a house, so it's kind of a bit different, but it's just a big snowman, you know? I'm sure you could just see how to build it, you know what I mean? But it's like 3, and then it's like a 3x3 going all the way up, of course. So we got the hat. If you have custom heads, by the way, of course, you could use custom heads for like these, but I used black stone buttons, just the best I had. Of course, the eyes, same thing. But I like the way it came out. Looks pretty cool. Next up, we got a few different build tips for how to build presents under your trees. So first up, we got the classic, which is just putting chests, and then the day, I think it's Christmas Eve and Christmas, these will change texture into the limited edition, like textured chests with the Christmas present thing. Kind of a classic like Minecraft thing if you don't know that. But yeah, you could just use chests if you actually build it on like Christmas Day, and they look pretty cool. But next up, we got something a bit more custom, and that's just making them out of wool. I have a few different designs here I'll go over. I think this one's probably my favorite, which is just using like red, like I guess, all right, wool, banner, and bamboo button. Of course, you just use a banner with whatever color wool you use, and then whatever stripe, use the closest button to it, which just kind of limit the color palettes you could do. There's no green button really. There's not a great blue button. So there's some other options here you can do. I tried this one. If you have invisible item frames, this will probably look good, but again, I try to make these survival friendly. So you could use something like this. Not quite the right color, but it's all right. You can also use carpet, you know, which I think it looks all right. Of course, this is just another example of the button one, which I think looks pretty good with the right palette. Next up, we got small presents. This one's kind of a weird one. I forget where I saw this, so I'm sorry. I'll try to find credit, but probably like Twitter or something, I don't know. But if you put like armor stands under the ground here, I can show you how to do it. I'll get a quick tutorial. Got all the stuff we need in the chest right here. So what we'll do, we'll go right here. So we break the carpet, we go under, we place a slab. Actually, do a daylight sensor. Armor stand, it has to be facing, so the back of it is like what you see, because that has more of a texture there, so you don't see it. And then you place a carpet, piston, just power it. Oops, I forgot a step. Ignore that. You place a sign here so that doesn't break, and then you do that. Boom, and that, and there you go. It's covered. Looks pretty cool in my opinion. I actually like it. Adds a lot of variation to like a pile of presents. And next up, of course, we just have really big presents. I don't know what you'd use these for. Like maybe if it's under like a huge tree like that. But just different designs. It's basically a color, like a main color, and like the middle color with like a bow. Very simple. I like this one probably the most, honestly. Just like this kind of gets the bow effect across. I got a bit of carpet here too, just for like a bit of like 3D stuff going on. But yeah, kind of fire. Next up, this one's definitely more of a survival tip, kind of if you're playing with friends, but you can actually make Santa armor. I'm gonna take this real quick. Like, look at this, bro. I have the Santa armor on. It's fire. Very simple. You basically apply, I believe it's this, I don't know which one this is, the Vex trim to the bottom 3, and then for the helmet, you use the Dune trim. And of course, you use quartz on red armor. And you get the Santa trim. It's kind of cool if you're playing with other people. I don't know. I always thought this was like funny. It almost looks like they like intentionally tried to make it look like Santa, but I don't know. Shout out Santa for real. But yeah, banger, not really a build tip, but you know, it's funny. Next up, we got some decorations for like outside of a house. So first up, we got an igloo. Maybe if you get a lot of snow, you know, you can build an igloo. Kind of just fits with like the Christmas theme, even if it's like not specifically Christmas, but I think it looks pretty cool. It just adds like variation to like a yard or something. Next, of course, we got like the snowball fight, sort of like arena thing. You know what I mean? Like maybe in like a front yard, you could put this, maybe a chest with some snowballs, you know? Oh my God, it's like a CSGO map. Crazy peak here. All right, anyway, oh yeah, just cool, kind of a cool decoration. It's not anything too crazy. I mean, it's literally just a snow block, so you can build this anywhere. Next up at 22, this is kind of a bit like, I don't know if this is just me. When I think of Christmas, for some reason, I think of like a train, and that's probably just because Polar Express is a classic. But like, so we got like a snowy train track here. I really like the way this looks. Just kind of anvil and then like spruce slabs and all that stuff. You know, it's not like a super complicated build or anything, but I don't know. Yeah, like train tracks and Christmas just feel like locked in for me. So yeah, we got this kind of train track here. Of course, there's some like grass poking through, some ice, but I think it just looks really cool. I can't build a train, but I can build a train track. Yeah, cool build. Next up at 23, we just have kind of a snowy campfire build. I like the way this looks a lot. I don't know, it's like really cozy, especially if it was like night. Like this is kind of fire. Like It's got a nice like aura to it, you know? I just like the way like campfires and like snow kind of go together. But yeah, it just looks pretty cool. Kind of cool detail up in like a yard of a build or something. And yeah, it just feels very like festive. Next up, build tip 24. I don't have it right here, but it's actually a gingerbread house. Teleport. This is actually a build I did a year ago. The build tip itself here is actually more just the fact that like oak and spruce together, kind of textured in like this sort of way here, with like spruce is like the dark areas and then oak is like a lighter. It could just kind of look like a gingerbread house. I mean, like the color of it matches pretty well. You could of course use all the other details we've been talking about in this video. I do have a whole video dedicated to this build, by the way. It's kind of old. It's from almost a year ago now. December 20, yeah, it was Christmas last year. So yeah, got this whole build here, but yeah, the build tip itself is just, this looks a lot like gingerbread, so you can make a gingerbread house with it. I do really like this build though. It's kind of classic. The candy canes coming through, like, hold, I kind of cooked. Next up, we just have a simple wreath. It's not like amazing, I don't know, it's not like that great, but if you have a bigger door, I kind of like the way this looks. It's just like spruce leaves. You can put some resin if you want some decorations on it, or you could use custom heads if you're using that, and then you can put a bell underneath it. Kind of looks like it's hanging from there a bit. I like the way it looks. Nothing too crazy, but it just kind of adds like a nice bit to the build here. Next up, 26, we just have a fireplace in general. I'll put this in like the living room with a Christmas tree, and that will feel like it'll go crazy. All right, classic. I don't know, fireplace and Christmas, just like, you know, they go hand in hand. Very simple fireplace build here. This is not like the most advanced one or anything. It's just kind of more of like a concept. Of course, the 27, we have stockings, which you can hang above the fireplace. Of course, if you're a creative, you could use invisible item frames, which will look better. They'll look way better, actually, but I like making these kind of survival friendly. So, of course, just imagine them invisible, okay? Next up, this is kind of admittedly a bit of a stretch, but if you have a whole room that's decorated for Christmas, I feel like this looks like one of those small Christmas trees you get, like the fake ones. Just kind of, I don't know, I just like the way it looks. Because this tree, of course, looks like kind of the most just like a small tree. Well, most saplings do, obviously, because that's what they are. But this one like still keeps like the Christmas tree sort of shape. So I feel like it's kind of a banger. And then finally at 29, we just have candles in general. Maybe this build is not the best one to like show it, but I feel like candles just kind of feel festive, you know, like on a dinner table, or like here on a table, you know. I just think they look good and they kind of add to the vibe. All right, now that you've seen all the build tips, I'm real quick going to show you this before and after. This is just a house I built a while ago. It's a Google Earth series house, you know, real ones know. Kind of a classic, nothing crazy, just pretty generic like suburb house. And if we go over here, we have this banger. I really like the way this looks. So of course you can see I got the snow roof. You know, got the waves in it with the layers. Got some like garland here. I did use the like, creative exclusive heads because I feel like they just look really good. Oops. Of course, got them like kind of lined on the edge of the house, kind of like lights. Of course, we got the Christmas tree, got like the snowball fight thing, some candy canes, and yeah, it just looks really cool in my opinion. Fireplace. I really like the way this build looks. It kind of transforms it from just like a house into like this like really like Christmassy sort of feeling thing. Of course, got the presents under the tree and everything. But yeah, with that, that's gonna be all I got for today. I hope you enjoyed. Maybe let me know down below if you plan on using any of these build tips to kind of make your base feel more Christmassy, or if you're just building the house for Christmas. I don't know. Let me know. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing, leave a like. I got a Discord down below. You should definitely join. That'll be crazy. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next one. And of course, as always, thank you to Aelic, ThaMango, Luty007, Tommi, and Natural High for joining the Patreon. And yeah, see ya.